Welcome. This is the Pathways, Modalities, and Frameworks section of the Enhanced Peer Recovery Specialist Training Toolkit. In this short video, I'll talk you through this section, explain what we mean by pathways, modalities, and frameworks, and give ideas on how you might use the resources. As you know, PRSs support many pathways. We usually come into the field with a strong understanding of the tools we have personally used in our wellness and recovery journeys. Often, we're not as familiar with others. This section gives an overview of several commonly used pathways, modalities, and frameworks. Before we get into that, let's answer the question. I'm using these words. What do they mean anyway? What's the difference? Well, there are many ways to think about it. For the purpose of this toolkit, here are the definitions we're working with. Recovery pathway. A recovery pathway is a way of achieving a specific result. That basically means it's a series or set of actions that go together. A defined journey, a way of life. Examples of pathways are 12-step recovery, like an Alcoholics Anonymous, spiritual and religious traditions, career path, educational journey, and mental health treatment. PRS modalities. A modality is a specific method or procedure for providing peer recovery support services. A modality is the actions you take to provide a peer recovery service. This is different from a pathway, and you could think of it like this. A modality is something the PRS does, whereas a pathway is what the peer does, the individual you're serving. It's the method of interacting with the peer's pathway. Therapists and physicians have modalities in their disciplines. Think cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, psychodynamic therapy, psychotropic medications, that sort of thing. Well, PRSs have modalities too. A few examples of PRS modalities are intentional peer support, navigation, and advocacy. Framework. A framework is a basic structure underlying a plan, concept, or system. Another word for framework is model. From basic PRS trainings, we learn about differences between the medical model and recovery model. But even within recovery and wellness, there are many flavors. Your recovery framework is how you think about recovery journeys and destinations, the way you develop an understanding of what might be going on. Examples of frameworks include the 8 dimensions of wellness and recovery capital. So the recovery pathway is the path or journey to get there. Peer recovery specialist modality is how the PRS interacts with someone's pathway, and a framework is how you think about the whole shebang. Okay, now we've got those basic definitions, let's talk about how these documents work. As an example, let's take a look at the 8 dimensions of wellness. At the top, we have the creator and associated organization, if any. True, it may have come from many lived experiences or be based in extensive research. However, when someone is commonly recognized as the primary originator, or an organization as a driving force, those are listed. We have a brief description of the origin, how it was developed, and basic definitions. Some of the features and distinguishing elements are listed, and key intended outcomes. Not every pathway, modality, or framework is free, and many are regulated in some fashion. This section can give you an idea of some of the restrictions, requirements, and costs. Finally, what it's like in action. A few examples, especially those relating to the work of PRSs. This is basic, summary information. Each have reams and reams of research, books, articles, speeches, you name it, with much more information. You're encouraged to use the references listed, Google search, and seek specialized trainings to learn more.